Holy shit! The fuck is up? I had a piece of tape on there, cause yeah, I basically have the webcam facing the sex area and the jack off area and the murder area. Can't be doing that. And also, I haven't been live streaming or taping or nothing like that for a while. Damn, someone's all up in here. Someone's all up in my shit already. Got the chat turned off. Sorry about that. Too much of a distraction. But yeah, what's my title say? Something about DEI or Sweet Baby Inc. or some shit like that. Oh, how's your boy look? You know, still bald? Still balding? Growing the beard out? I have decided to grow the beard out for another year. I'm going to cut it in the summer of 2025. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's been going about 9 months or so. I started growing it out about October, November last year. So it's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Got the cum tendrils, the cum splatter on the beard already. Someone already bounced out. I don't think it was a follower. I think I don't know. Someone clicked on the live and then just said, fuck it. Oh, that's fine. Whew, already had my morning coffee. Got a bit of catching up to do. Not much other than the economy kicking our asses and stuff. Stacy got a new job, a salaried position for about a week. And then they were just abusing the hours. They lied to her and everything, abusing the hours. They wanted her to work pretty much like 12 hours a day every day, covering for everyone else. Madness. So she fucking left and got her old job back. Very happy about that. Where am I with the job? I got some fingers and some pies. I have been very careful not to mention by name because I got a lot of weird, I don't know, I wouldn't call them haters. I wouldn't call them fans either, but I got a bunch of weird followers that kind of harass me in strange ways. Some of it kind of bothers me, some of it doesn't, but I don't know. I got that to deal with, so I'm trying to be very careful not to say what I got going on. But I got a couple of fingers and a couple of pies, you know, in the online space. Got my couple of things that are dead, couple of things that are nearly dead, but you know, it's going, pulling in a little bit of income. I'm not trying to pretend it's the same as, you know, what my wife's pulling in right now, but you know, spent a long time online doing shit in the online spaces, and it's starting to pay off a little bit, just a little bit. YouTube obviously isn't one of those things, but I still like to do it from time to time. Well, time is short because I'm doing laundry. I don't know. If things go well, I could just go, leave, switch the laundry, and come back. What do you think? It depends. I'll do that. For the handful of people who actually enjoy my content, actually watch it, actually are just curious about the fuck is going on, I salute you. I salute you. Thank you very much. That's why I do this, because I like to do this from time to time. How am I looking? Am I looking a little thinner? Not really. Same old shit. So I was doing my exercises and looking pretty good, and then I kind of slacked on that a little bit, gained about 10 pounds. It looked like 50 pounds, and then I started working out again, lost the 10 pounds, and there I am. There I am. Here's something I never thought I'd ever own. Yeah. Still trying to figure out what is a green dot on there that it's reflecting. Oh. Yeah. Where is it? Trying to fucking. Yep. But yeah, never thought I'd own one of those, but I do now. I don't use it really, but it is what it is. Anyway, I've been yammering, kind of doing a little bit of a catch up. I'm still doing what I'm doing, I'm still playing games. I'm still trying to have fun. I'm still struggling. I'm still in tune with the video game news. I tend to. There's times I game less, but I am up to date on video game news way more. I kind of noticed that both with people reporting the news and paying attention to the news, the more you pay attention, the less you actually play. That's just how it goes. And I don't like what's going on with the camera here. There we go. Yeah. I've always been a play motherfucker. I've always been the guy who plays games and not, talks about games. That's why, my opinions might be a little weird, but, I'm actually in the trenches playing and shit. It's wild to see someone talk about a news story surrounding a game. And it's fine if you talk about a game you haven't played, but just talk about it from the problem with people talking about stuff. I have no problem with people divulging in a topic as an outsider, like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, that doesn't look good. If a game, and especially if something pertains to a topic that has nothing to do with your gameplay experience. Like, I get blasted about this from time to time. Oh, you've never played the game, blah, blah, blah. You've never played the game, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about gameplay. I'm not talking about the plot. I'm not talking about the character development. I'm not talking about any of those things that you should probably play the game for. I'm talking about factual, objective criticism, like something that you could observe from the outside, like a game's art style. Like, I've seen a game's art style. I could say if it's shitty or not, regardless if I've played it. Everyone could see how fucking shitty this game looks. Everyone. You guys love that? Remember that? I think you could barely hear it. Yep, the shitties are still alive and kicking. There's the Ridley fucking doo-doo, kind of looking over like, is he doing that thing again? I had to give him a little thwap this morning. He was eating out of his food bowl right here, and he was scratching when he's done. He wouldn't stop. Usually I say, hey, Ridley, and he stops. But today he just kept going. I had to go over there and not really. I don't don't hit them, as I know, but I do like to pretend like I do. I do like to joke about it. White one's right over there. You guys want to see him? Let's take a peek. You guys haven't seen Lakitu in a while. Where the hell is he? There's my exercise bike. Where the hell did he go? Oh, there he is. He's by the Switch games. See his little head. Lakitu. Yeah. Yep, all's well. All's well. I'm not dead. I'm not divorced yet. Cats are still alive and kicking. My aunt's in town, checking up on my grandmother. Man, I'm not gonna catch you guys all up on what's been going on with my grandma, but my grandma's old. My grandma's 90. My grandma's almost as old as Biden. She ain't doing too well. She's in the throes of Alzheimer's, and long story short, she fell, broke her pelvis, 3 ribs, her arm, her forearm, elbow, her neck, and back. Sounds crazy. She broke all of that. And she's healed and walking 3 months later. I know, crazy. At that age, too. We had to cut off her booze. We had to cut off her cigarettes, cold turkey. Oh my God. You want to see a cranky old bitch? Take away her booze and her cigarettes when she's trying to heal. Oh my God. She had to go into a rehab center. She got the whole ordeal up to her fucking Alzheimer's. She just got super confused. My aunt had to fly down from out of state. We were going to put her in a home, and I grew up in a group home. From ages, I think, like 12 until adulthood. And then I went, yeah, I talked a bit about that before. Kind of like being in jail, in juvie, sort of. A lot of your freedoms are taken away. It is not fun. And I went through that personally. And, my mom's dead. My grandmother has 3 daughters. My mom's dead, so it's just the 2 of them now. And I had to talk to them. They were going to put her in a home because it's hard to take care of her. I'm not saying it's not hard. I know it's fucking hard. I watched them. And kind of as one of the family members on the outside looking in, not doing everything. I'm not there every day, watching everything every day. Kind of just like an armchair physician, I guess. But no, I told the 2 of them, the 2 sisters, my 2 aunties. I said, I really need to talk to you guys about something. I never do this. So I sat them down in the other room together, and I was talking with them. They thought I was going to tell them I had cancer or something like that. Like it was pretty serious. I basically told them, hey man, worst case scenario, grandma falls down, breaks everything again. She's writhing in pain for a week, and no one's there to help her, and she dies of thirst or starvation. Rats come and eat her. Horrible death. Worst case scenario. That would never happen because, someone's always there watching her, but worst case scenario is still better than dying in a bed in some facility. Nobody wants that. I talked to my wife. Both her and I agree. Yeah, we would rather die in the comfort of our own home, even if it's like a dilapidated home, worst case scenario. I know for a fact my grandma don't want to fucking go to a home. And as someone who's been in a home of sorts, a group home, it's not fun. And I told them, I know it's hard, but this ain't the way. This ain't the way. And the 2 of them, I didn't think it would work. I thought I would fall on deaf ears. I thought they would think I thought they would just, I don't know. But it worked. It fucking worked. They told me yesterday that they had come to a definitive decision together. They are not going to put her in a home. They're going to tough it out until she dies. And she's going to stay in her house. And that made me happy. So that's all that's been going on with me. let's talk about the fucking topic at hand, before I gotta rush away. Basically, just gotta switch the laundry here in about 15 minutes or so, less than 15. Well, the reason why I'm doing a video right now like this is because there's been a couple of topics I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about what I've been playing, and what I've been playing. The servers are down right now. If you know, about 7 a.m. on Tuesday, the servers go down. What game that is? Every Tuesday, every time. Sometimes on extra days, but on Tuesday, about 7 a.m. Pacific time, every time, every day, every week, for the last 20 years. It's been like this. Yeah, that's what I'm playing. So I got nothing to do right now. I did want to talk about that, but I'll talk about that later in a later video. I want to talk about all the nonsense that ever since the beginning of the year, since a little bit before the beginning of the year, but ever since the beginning of the year in particular, the topic of, and I would mention it here and there on my channel when I would talk about games and stuff like that, I would talk about DEI and just diversity and EGS, ESG. I get EGS and ESG mixed up. I think it's ESG. Yeah, ESG. Economic social governance. They're trying to weasel in a new one. Now that everyone's fucking hip to their new lingo, that they create these words and acronyms so they could go around talking about this shit without people being wise to it and fly under the radar. They literally speak in code, stuff like DEI and ESG and shit like that. Now that people are getting wise to that, they're trying to come up with a new term called I forget what it stands for. It stands for a bunch of nonsense, but it stands for bridge or bridges. They always do this. The left always does this. They come up with some fancy word or lingo, and then when the public catches on to it, they shift it so they could keep talking about it without any scrutiny. They did this with the word woke. Woke was supposed to be something that was supposed to be amazing and virtuous, and then people started laughing at it. What's woke? Oh, that's stupid. And people started making fun of it. Didn't catch on the way they want, and so they stopped using the word. They just stopped using it. Now you get yelled at in the comments by the same fucking people telling you that, oh, who uses that word anymore? Everyone but you, because it's fucking stupid. You got to call it something. I'm sorry that you fucking changed lanes because it didn't catch on the way you wanted to, but yeah, everyone uses that word. It's just fucking crazy, man. I've always been against that shit. And yeah, so I had a weird encounter the other day. I'm not gonna mention who or anything like that. If you're watching, that's cool. All due respect, They were a follower of me and my channel, and they messaged me, and they were just talking to me on Xbox. I gave them the courtesy of talking to them back and stuff. They were, I don't know if they were trolling me or what, but they were, what game was it? It was a new game. Oh, it was the Fallout show. The Fallout show happened. Yeah, like I said, starting at the beginning of the year, the topics surrounding DEI and shit in games, across all media, really, specifically in gaming, with Sweet Baby Inc. and stuff, things have been going off the fucking rails. And it's everywhere. And, the backlash has been real. I'm glad people are starting to wake up a little bit to the nonsense. And right now you got Assassin's Creed Shadows going on, where you play as a fake black samurai in Japan. We've been wanting a Japanese Assassin's Creed game forever. And we finally get one, and it's like, here, play as a black guy. You could call me racist all you fucking want. I do not care. I do not dispute it. I do not argue it. I don't agree with it. I don't care. You could say whatever the fuck you want. No one wants to play a fucking black guy in Japan No one. No one. Not even the people who advocate for this shit do. Because they don't buy the fucking games. They don't fucking play this shit. They don't like it either. They don't care about it. I hate this shit. It's not what I fucking wanted. I thoroughly enjoyed the last Assassin. Well, not the last one. The one before that. The last big game. I don't even know if this is supposed to be like a bigger game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or if it's going to be like a smaller title like a Mirage. But, you know, when I play Assassin's Creed Mirage, you know, it took place in the Middle East, Middle Eastern people everywhere. You play as a Middle Eastern guy, that's fine. You know, I haven't played it yet, but I don't know if this new game is supposed to be smaller or bigger. I don't know, but no one wants to play as some black dude in fucking Japan. We had a game, it was called Assassin's Creed Origins. It took place in Africa, in Egypt. Guess what? That game was amazing. You play as Bayek, one of my favorite Assassin's Creed characters ever. Black guy. It ain't about that. It's not about the race. It's not about black or white or anything in between. It's about the people who are forcing that in your face all the fucking time. That's what it's about. I don't want people pushing some sort of agenda in my face. I don't care if that agenda is black or white. You know, there was a time where like every character looked like male shepherd from every character looked like male shepherd from Mass Effect. Got the military cut, perfect hairline, even though he had a shaved head. You know, basically there was hair all above the fucking line here. You know, buff white guy. Every maybe could be Mexican, or you know, every character in games looked like that for a time being, and people were sick of it, including me. It's not about what race it is. It's about fucking how much it's getting shoved in your fucking face. How annoying is that? All right, well, let's keep the ball rolling. I'm gonna go switch to laundry, and I'll be right back. Yes, that was the microwave timer. Look at him fucking with his shit. Fucking with this shit. Holy shit. Sorry about that. Man, it would have been funny if someone was watching, waiting. Sorry about that. How long did it take? It took me about 4 minutes. A little over 4 minutes. Where was I? Yeah. So that's what's been going on with Assassin's Creed lately. And I just wanted to kind of just talk about it a little bit, touch up on things, not get too deep in everything. But things have been getting really crazy. And I kind of feel like, well, it's a massive machine, the DEI machine, and how it works. You have, so recently, and this is just recent, CD Projekt Red was bragging online about how they won some sort of ESG award. It's a little bit different over there in Europe, because in Europe you have ESG. There's like ESG companies, and then over here it's all the same fucking shit. They do the same thing, but it's just different. Over here you have like companies like BlackRock and shit, who are basically banks that loan out money. I'm not going to get into it in particular, but over there in Europe, they're bragging that they got an award for letting women go on leave for their periods, which man, I wish I was a woman working for these companies. That's just like a free paid week off. That sounds great. That's great for the worker, but is that great for productivity? I'm not going to get into that. It's just, I'm not going to debate or argue it. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Letting a woman fucking go, not letting them go, but letting them have like paid leave because of their period. So what's going to happen next is guys are going to want to do the same thing. And then they're going to argue, well, you can't discriminate against me based off of, sex or something like that. Man, that's the type of shit this causes. So like all these companies that say these things and preach this stuff and believe in this stuff, they don't really believe in it. You're going to get someone that's going to challenge the system, whether they're crazy or they just want to fucking stick it to the man. Either way, they're going to challenge the fucking system. So every dude's going to say, I want a free paid week off from work, or because, I'm on my period too. And it puts these companies in a position where they have to do it. Of course, they're not going to do it. I mean, if they have a flamboyant, gay, trans fruit in the midst that, every fucking month pretends it's on its fucking period, then yeah, they'll let them do it too, for sure. But if it's someone like me, right, and I'm working at CD Projekt Red, and I'm like, I started. I took a piss and there was a little bit of blood in there. It smelt off. It's time for me to go home for a week and get paid for it. Like, I would totally fucking do that shit. But what's going to happen is the company, okay, none of this shit's legal, by the way. The hiring, these discriminatory hiring practices and all of this DEI inclusive bullshit, none of it's legal. I mean, I can't speak to Europe, but at least in the United States, none of this shit is strictly legal. You can't do that. And so what they do is they just make up other reasons why they do what they do. Oh, we didn't hire this person because we have too many people in that field. We don't need another person. That's why we didn't hire this white guy. And black girl comes around with a shaved head. They hire her on the spot, even though they don't need any person. Well, a spot opened up. They lie. They move the pieces around the board that suits them to suit their agenda, because none of this shit is actually legal. They can't say that they're hiring based off of sex. They can't say that they're discriminating based off of race. And that's really all they're doing, is they're discriminating based off of, parameters. Like, I don't care if a person's a woman or a man or gay or whatever. Just do your fucking job. But this shit's fucking nonsense, and that's what you're going to have. So are you going to see like a ton of fucking people suddenly get discriminated against for wanting a paid week leave because of their period? No, you're not. They're just not going to let them. Well, I should say, yes, you are going to see that. But they're going to lie about it. They're going to, that's what they do. They're going to tell the straight white guy that they can't do it too. Why? Because they're not a woman. Well, what if I identify as a woman? Then they'll tell them you don't. You're a liar. You're right wing, and that's where it all comes down to. They're just gonna call them right wing and make up other ist and phobe things to exclude people from their weird little clubs, and that's what's gonna fucking happen. And people are gonna protest and leave. Maybe they won't. I don't know. I mean, yeah, they got to. CD Projekt Red hired tons of people during the lockdowns, just like everyone else. People are waking up to this and just not wanting to do the bullshit. But why are you seeing all this right now? Like I said, it's a machine. The DEI, well, they get funding for it, is what it is. You got these bad ideas. It's already established. These ideas are bad. No one wants them. No one likes them. And they do not translate well to a product. I don't care if it's a movie or a TV show or a video game. When you shove this shit in a game, for instance, it's a bad game. The story is stupid and nonsensical. They throw shit and hit you upside of the head. They throw shit in your face and hit you upside of the head with politics that shouldn't be in there in the first place. They have no place there. The characters in the story completely take, a back seat, and it just ends up being a bad game. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper into it with diversity practices on hiring practices, the people actually making these games that can't do their fucking job, and they just can't program as well. I mean, people have been talking for a while about games releasing broken. It's the same problem as you see with like the story and characters. If you got like an all black cast, if you got a black samurai in a Japanese, I don't know if it's the feudal era or the Ito era or the Sengoku era. I don't know. But if you got a black samurai in a Japanese samurai game as the main character, like, that's in your fucking face. Like, that is in your fucking face. You notice it. But the reason why people, games are releasing broken, it's not this nonsense about, oh, games take longer to make these days because reasons. Games are harder to make these days because reasons. As soon as they try to fucking explain these reasons, it don't make a lot of sense. It don't make a lot of sense. But the same shit that's in your face is the same shit that's going on with these games releasing busted and broken. It's the DEI practices. You get people, and it's not all DEI shit, not all of it, but long story short, you just get people that shouldn't be in there, that aren't good in their job making these games. Scam games are higher and more prominent than they ever were. Remember that fucking game late last year? What the fuck was it called? The Day Before or The Last Day Ever or some shit? That shooting game that was made with Unreal Engine 5, and it's a scam game, and the developer just fucking delisted the game and took off with billions of fucking dollars. Shit like that happens all the time. You get broken games that are scams because the barrier for entry is so low. But a lot of it, what's going on is just underqualified people. And in the AAA space in particular, I guess I should say this only accounts in the AAA space. But you got a lot of scam games because the barrier for entry is lower than it ever has been in the world ever. And in the AAA space in particular, you have the DEI shit. You know, truth is they're not hiring black people and women en masse. They're not. They pretend they are, but they're not. I was going to make a point that there's just not that many black people. There's like 12% of people in the United States of America are black. It was 13. It was 13. Then the border crisis happened. Y'all are going down, way, way down there. You ain't ever coming back. You ain't ever fucking coming back, darky. You've been usurped. We opened up the borders. Everyone's coming in. You're a smaller percentage than you ever have been. You voted for it. You get what you fucking get. There's just not that many black people. You can't fill in half the positions with black people. You just can't. There's not that many of them. You just can't. But what you can do is you could fill in as many as you can. And then you fill in the rest of the ranks with women. And then fill in the rest of the ranks with gays and trans and whatever. And then all of a sudden you have this hodgepodge of people who only got their position because of what's between their legs and their skin color. And none of them know how to make a fucking game. And surprise, surprise, all of our AAA games are broken, launch broken, and, you know, have this weird DEI shit everywhere. Like, it's not a surprise. It's not hard to understand why that is. A person that makes a game, you know, they want to make a game for their audience, you know. I would assume a straight white gamer that's turning 40 this year, if you had a bunch of people like me making a game, we would make a game that's fun to play. And yeah, we'll throw in a black or gay character in there. Sure. Why not? You know. But we'll make a game that's fun to play, focus on the story and the mechanics. That's what we're focused on. We're not worried about anything else. We want to make just a game, a good one. That's what we want. We don't give a fuck about all this other shit. You know, if you had a bunch of people, well, let's be honest, if you had a bunch of people that look like me, that are my age doing it, they would make all the diverse shit, because being a millennial, we're the fucking worst. Have you seen pictures of like the lead artists and stuff like that? They're fucking people that look like me, beard and all. So I'm fooling myself a little bit there. But no, you know what I mean. You know, if you get a bunch of like-minded people together, they're going to make a product that represents their ideals. It's just a fact, regardless of ideals. And you get a bunch of people where they have weirdo ideals, and guess what? They're going to get a weirdo product that no one wants to buy and no one wants to play, with a broken story. And then all the outlets, the journalist outlets, and the IGNs, and the Kotakus, and the Polygons, did one of them go away? Did Polygon leave? Polygon's not a thing anymore, is it? Let me look that up. Let me see if it's a thing. Didn't one of them shut down? No, Polygon's still here. Oh man, Joshua Riviera, Ollie Welsh, Pete Volk. I recognize these names. Maddie Mayers. Which is the one? Yeah. Chris Plant. Yeah. Yeah, they're still up and running. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? I don't fucking know. But yeah, shit's fucking wild. It's no fucking good. And, you know, it is what it is. And, yeah. And because of that, well, it's a multifaceted problem, but you got all the layoffs going on, Microsoft laying off all these studios and people, all the companies everywhere laying people off. It has a lot to do with that. It has a lot to do with that. Now, nobody is saying, oh, DEI. I don't know. The wokies have a weird way of interpreting things. Like, they'll try to pretend that I'm saying, because they're trying to make characters more black in games and have more representation, that that's not working and people don't like that, and therefore the studio's got to close down. Like, Microsoft is going, oh, well, people aren't buying your games because of this, so we're going to get rid of you now. That is like 3 times removed. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually, but what I think is going to happen is the problem is going to fix itself before it gets there. That's definitely a factor, but it's not the whole thing. It's just a factor. You know what I mean? But just in defense, I see that a lot too. A lot of the wokies attacking people, trying to claim that people like me are coming up with conspiracy theories. It is part of it for sure. Like, the wokeness isn't working and it is affecting sales, and those sales are leading to layoffs and closures. Like, it's a thing. It's one piece of the pie, though. There's like 4 or 5 pieces of the pie. The DEI, first of all, the wokeness and the DEI stuff, it's multifaceted. It's not just what is in the video game. It has a lot to do with how they make the game, the production, how the company is run. And it also has to do with the hiring practices. And then there's, I'll say, extracurricular stuff, like someone will make a tweet and then they'll get a bunch of backlash, and then the company has to deal with that, and they have to either let go of the toxic person or, in most cases, choose to back them or ignore it altogether because, and just let gamers boycott things and stuff like that. Like, there's the social aspect of that as well. There's like a lot of dynamic to DEI and woke stuff in gaming. It's not just what is on screen. What is on screen is a byproduct of all that and what's going on. And one of the things that I wanted to touch up on is the funding. You got companies like BlackRock and other ESG companies that pay developers and other companies to be woke. They're like, hey, implement these woke policies, like with CD Projekt Red. CD Projekt Red. Give women period leave, and we will give you money. That's why they're doing it. That's why they're waving this award around and bragging about it. It's not just for virtue points. I mean, years ago, it was for virtue points. Oh, you're saying this for all the virtue on Twitter. It's actual money. It's actual money. These giant companies are pushing policies for various reasons. I don't really want to get into that because they do sound conspiratorial, but needless to say, let me just reference the town of St. George. I think it was Baton Rouge. Is it Baton Rouge? The crime got so high, a bunch of rich white people left and made their own town and called it St. George. That's the end game. That is the end game. Right there. That. So all the poors could kill each other in a fucking shitty town or a shitty city, while the rich, who are like 80% white, they all go and they make their own town, their own gated community where you're not allowed to come in, or they're going to police their own fucking place. That is the goal. It's a class issue. Always has been. Always has been. It's always been that. And that is the goal. That is why these mega companies like BlackRock meddle. They don't care about the stuff they're preaching about. They want to create a situation where over time it changes culture and it changes the way we live. And it's in everything. And it does sound conspiratorial, but that is what's going on. That's what's going on, and that's why it's going on. That is the end game. And they dress it up like they care about minorities or something like that. But all these policies having to do with minorities and representation in gaming, it all pushes towards this. Some of it is in an indoctrination level, you know, some of it's direct in schools with school teaching. Some of it is on a culture level. They put it in music and video games, so the young kids just get indoctrinated with this stuff. And yeah, some of it is just more direct, like, here, we'll give you money to do this, enact these policies. And that's why CD Projekt Red is doing this. This is why companies like Microsoft are doing these things, is because they get money for it. Here's the problem. Well, there's a lot of problems with that, but here's their problem when it comes to this. First of all, these ESG companies aren't making money back like they wanted to. I'm not really sure how they get money back by investing and making these other companies enforce these policies. I'm sure there is a math there. I'm sure there is some sort of math there, but they're not getting their money back. They're not seeing a return on their massive investment. They're kind of freaking out a little bit. The president of BlackRock had like a meltdown, talking about how the policies aren't working and stuff like that. We're in some sort of like revolution. People are like waking up to the bullshit regarding DEI and ESG and everything. Pretty much, things just aren't working. It's forcing companies to reverse their stance on things, and the video game industry was among the first in the last 15 years or so, we'll say, last 15 years or so. But they were among the first on a cultural level to really start making changes, and they're probably going to be the last to change back. But you're already seeing companies like Bud Light and Target start to apologize and change back. They're like, we're done with this stuff. And the video game industry is, well, it's stubborn. And I'm not really sure yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I do know what the problem is. I do know why they're going to be this slowest. It's because they're one of the only companies that have flooded the workforce with their ideology, people that represent their ideology. 90% of the people that work at Budweiser aren't gay, trans, BIPOC, women of color. That's not them. 90% of the people that work at Budweiser are white dudes. That's the reason why they switched their stance. And they're on this campaign to win back the public, which I don't think it'll ever happen. But that's the reason why you don't see the same thing in video games, because they're full of gay, trans, whatever buzzword you want to throw out there. It's full of them. They're not going to sell their own out. They're not going to go, you know what, you're right, this isn't working, because it will completely invalidate them. That's the problem with having an ideology like that. That's the problem with identity politics. When you build everything that you're doing based off of who you are and what you are, you can't admit it's not working, because that would, to them at least, that's the same as admitting you are invalid as a person. Which you're not invalid as a person, but it ends there. It should never have gone beyond that. Who you are as a person shouldn't be intertwined with anything else, you know? So this game starring a black person doesn't sell well. It's just a game. You know, it's not because they're black. It's because the story sucks. And what does it say for you? Like, you're making these shitty fucking games. You're not doing these people justice. You know what I mean? I could count these woke games, barring the fact that almost every game is woke these days, but I could count the good woke games on a single hand. The two examples I like to use are The Last of Us Part 2 and Rogue Legacy 2. Rogue Legacy 1 and 2. Those games are somewhat recent. They're great. I love them. A lot of people give me pushback with The Last of Us Part 2. I understand the backlash, but it was a great game. It was a great game. I loved it. The story was good. There's a lot of cringe stuff in there, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say the games weren't woke trash. They are. But they were still good in spite of that. Very few games are good in spite of it. Usually, when a game's woke, it ends there. It's woke, we know the rest of the story. The game's trash, no storytelling, horrible characters, bad gameplay, everything other than the main character is put on the back burner and sacrificed. It's like we know the story. That's the case 90% of the fucking time. And that's the reason why people don't like this fucking shit. Is because the product doesn't sell. We're not getting good games. It would be completely different if we got like the same great games, just the characters a little bit different. I would argue there would be more prominent racism. The people who give backlash to that would be more racist because, if that's the only thing different, then that's the only thing they'd be complaining about. But these days, when we see the main character from Assassin's Creed Shadows, we see what else that means. IGN just did a fucking like a 15-minute, open world explanation thing. One of the top comments said a 15-minute video and they didn't really show any gameplay at all. That's the point. That's the point. They wave this shit in front of your fucking face. Everyone fights over it. They don't show no gameplay. I don't know what's going on with that, man, but it's not going to sell well. I'll probably play it. First of all, I got Assassin's Creed Mirage to play first. I'm actually right now playing. I'm in the middle of the Ezio trilogy. I beat the first one. I'm going to go back and I'm going to play the second one. Those games have great story and characters. Great story and characters. Yeah. Every once in a while, they'll have like a funny thing. I don't know. It's just different. I just played Assassin's Creed 2 on the trilogy not too long ago, and just the story and the writing is completely different. They definitely have oddball characters and weird jokes and some cringe where they're trying to, have comic relief. But it's not the whole game. I've played modern games where the whole game they're pushing weird characters, and I'm not talking about the DEI stuff either. They're pushing comic relief in your face. It's like Star Wars if every character was Jar Jar Binks. That sounds horrible. No, but that's what it is. I played games where it's like Star Wars, but everyone's Jar Jar. Everything's a cringe quip, Gen Z humor, stupid jokes in the most serious moments. Like, I've played games like that, and just the writing and the characters are horrible. Again, all the DEI stuff aside, I've played games, modern games like that, and they're awful. And then I go back and I play Assassin's Creed 2. That game definitely had some oddball characters and jokes, but it was sprinkled around in moments that didn't matter, and it was done tastefully, and it wasn't that often. But just overall, the story was great. Just the severity of everything. They touched upon topics of indentured servitude, rape, prostitution, slaves, everything under the sun. And man, it was just leaps and bounds better than what you see today. Just thinking back to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which released not too long ago. And they were talking about this stuff, and you have some flamboyant character flailing around his arms because they use the same few mocap animations for all the characters, and they cross their arms, and they're pretending they're all mad and shit, talking about something like a slave camp. It's like, what, everyone's a freedom fighter now too? It's like you didn't have that in Assassin's Creed 2. They touched up on the subject, but it was common. It was kind of common there. They didn't pretend to be outraged. Even the characters pretend to be outraged in the new games. It's like you have to have a character like that. And if you don't, what are you trying to say? You're condoning racism and slavery? It's like, no. It just wasn't a deal back then. It is how it was. Crazy how shit is. And this is what I mean by culture from the top down. These are the people making the games today. The people that made Assassin's Creed then understand that slavery and prostitution and all the, nefarious things about society in our history, they understood that it's history, that back then it was more prevalent. People were attuned to it. Some people didn't like it and they kind of went against it, and some people didn't care. But that's how it was then, and they made the characters and the world around that, and it made a more authentic world. These days, in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, again, every time they touched up on the subject, they made it a huge spectacle. Because you have people LARPing that make these games. They make the characters like them, that would react like them. A bunch of college students that just fucking learned about this shit and fucking want to make a statement. That's the problem. That is the problem with ESG. That is the problem with diversity hires. That I just spoke of. It's not about what color the character on the screen is. It's about how a fucking company pays another company to put top-down mandates in their company on how they make a game, so that the creative team, the artists can't draw the characters that they want. Maybe they do want it. I'm sure a lot of them do. I'm sure a lot of them will sit down with a pen and paper and go, oh, today I'm going to draw a black guy, and he's going to be a really cool black guy. And yeah, that's fine. But, lost are the days when an artist would sit down and go, okay, I'm going to draw a really cool person. He's going to be a warrior. And they start sketching and stuff. Those swords turn into spears. All of a sudden, you got a dual-wielding spear fucking angry guy. Maybe he just played Diablo and he's thinking, barbarian. He's fucking drawing a loincloth. And then he's like, you know what? Let's just give this guy dreadlocks. He's going to be a badass black guy. That's how it used to work. Now they go into it going, oh, I'm going to draw a black guy. And then they just think of, I don't know, black culture stuff. It's not natural. It's not natural. We get watered down characters, watered down stories, watered down games. None of them work. That is the problem. And I say all this because I got a message on Xbox the other day from a follower. I touched up on that a little bit earlier. They were being nice. They were being respectful. We were talking about Fallout, the Fallout TV show. Great show, by the way. It's like the first show I watched in like 8 years. I don't watch TV these days for reasons I spent the last hour explaining. But I was like, I'm going to give this a chance. I heard good things about it. The final, not nail in the coffin, but the final verdict that came in, it was after it was pre-released and, everyone was watching it and shit. I didn't hear a peep from all the anti-SJW culture warriors out there. There's the YouTube channels and stuff. I'm subscribed to a couple of them. But usually, right on cue, every time Sweet Baby Inc. does something, I didn't even talk about Sweet Baby Inc. I don't really care about Sweet Baby Inc. I am fully aware of their involvement in things, but it goes beyond Sweet Baby. There's Black Girl Gamers, who are the ones who tanked fucking the Forsaken game, and a bunch of other things. But yeah, they're all Johnny on the spot when it comes to certain woke things and games and pop culture and stuff like that. But I didn't hear a peep about Fallout. Fallout came, got its early release. This is when the people would scream from the high heavens how bad it is. I didn't hear anything. So I was like, oh, there must not be tons of bullshit with this fucking show, like there was with like the Halo TV show. I didn't trust it, but I hadn't watched anything in a while. And that Fallout 4 next gen update was coming out. I was like, I'm gonna get on this. So me and my wife, we watched it. I'm still playing Fallout 4. She just finished Fallout New Vegas. She went back and she played that for the first time following the TV show. But yeah, the TV show was great. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty great. I really liked how lore heavy. It felt like Fallout, is what I'm trying to say. It felt like Fallout. I could forgive some other stuff, but at least it felt like Fallout. It was pretty respectful to the lore. Not when it comes to every detail, but like it was good. It was good. The costume design was amazing. The vault looked like a fucking vault, felt like a vault. It was great. It really was. But I was talking to this individual, and I was telling him, and I said, yeah, it was great, but it was woke as shit, though. And he was like, how is it woke? How is it woke? How? Oh, I don't know. You got me, man. I don't know. I'm just saying that. I'm just a fucking white boy who hates black people, and I just, if I see a black person, I just call it woke. I don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind me. I don't know. Like, is that what you think I'm gonna fucking say? You fucking people who are like, well, how is it woke? Is that what you think we're gonna fucking say? We got nothing? Come on. Come on. You guys gotta stop fucking saying that shit. You guys gotta stop fucking saying that shit. Like, oh, you got me. You got me. Yeah, so let me count the ways. I said this a couple of times. Some of my comments got erased, like on YouTube and shit, because, you say certain things. How is the show woke? Okay. Again, it's not all about the person on screen. It's about the people who write the stories and make the characters and cast the roles. All right, so the three main characters in the Fallout TV show. We have a woman who I read somewhere that she's also gay or bi or something like that. I didn't really see that. I don't know. So the three main characters are a woman, a person of color, and a person with disability. Those are the three main characters. Now, is having a black person in the show woke? No. Is having a black person who's a main character woke? No. But they cast him in the role because of that. A white guy comes along. Nope. Another white guy. Nope. 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 Oh, we're looking for someone just like you. Yes. That's what's woke about it. Now, do I have any problem with the three main characters? The fuck is his name? He was in The Shield. Oh my god, he played such a good role in The Shield. Me and my wife call him Teeth. Teeth and forehead. Walton Goggins played a pretty good role there. He had a great performance. The female lead, she had a pretty good performance too. And then the black guy, he had a pretty good performance too. I actually like all three main characters. I don't have a problem with the characters in specific. Great actors, all three of them. All three of them. Don't have a problem with the people. But let's not pretend we didn't know what they were doing. They decided on a female lead before they started casting people. They decided on a black person before they even cast the role. They did. And they decided they want a ghoul as another main character before they cast the role. And surprise, surprise, the white guy is the only one caked with makeup. You tell me that ain't woke? You tell me a bunch of woke weirdos didn't decide on these things beforehand? Because they did. That's what's woke about it. It's not who they cast, it's why they cast them. And you could pretend I'm looking in shadows and making up conspiracy theories. It's not a conspiracy theory. They did cast them for these reasons. How do I know? Because they do it with everything. They do it with everything. It has been well documented why and how and who. Everything has been well documented. There's always someone celebrating it and talking about, oh, on the cutting room floor, well, we wanted to tell this kind of story. They've said so all the time, everywhere. So don't fucking pretend that it just happened, the chips happened to fall and land the way it did. Get the fuck out of here. On the topic of the ghoul being a person with disability, and I play Fallout, I love Fallout. Ghouls don't have disabilities or what the fuck ever. But that's not how Hollywood sees them. Hollywood doesn't see them like that. Hollywood sees them as deformed people, deformed. They're people too. That's how they view them. That's how they see them, and that's how they parade them on screen. Is people that can do and act just like anyone else can. That's how they parade them around as. So I mean, having a ghoul character is cool. Having a ghoul character is great, but that's not how they see them. So that's the first thing that's woke about this thing. And then there's the anti-male sentiment that is everywhere. Every single character that's a male in this TV series is either an evil bastard, a weakling, or a bumbling idiot. Every single one of them without fail. There's not one cool, strong male guy with virtue or good morals. None of that. Every single one of them, including the two male character leads. Walton Goggins' ghoul character, he's not a good guy. He's a bad dude. One would say he's evil. He hasn't done a single good thing. Oh yeah, he's had his own personal tragedies, but just because bad shit happened to him doesn't mean he ain't evil. The black guy, the Brotherhood of Steel main character, again, I like these characters. They're flawed, but he's not a coward either. He's not. But he is a bumbling idiot. He just fucks shit up. There's not a single character that has wits, common sense, and is a decent human being. Every single one of them is either evil, a coward, or a bumbling idiot, without fail. I'm trying not to do spoilers here. There is one male character who is seen as virtuous and moralistic and strong, not a coward at all. Turns out he's an evil bastard. Turns out he's evil. So yeah, every single male character is an evil bastard, bumbling idiot, or just a fucking sniveling coward. You tell me that's not woke? That has nothing to do with black people or anything like that, but it is the message. It is the message they want to get across. You know, black people good, white people bad. Female good, male bad. Gay good, straight bad. And then there is the weirdo trans character. They cast a female in the Brotherhood of Steel. There's a scene where it's his friend, and it's straight up a chick. It's called the Brotherhood of Steel. There's no women in there. No, there's a couple of them in there. But this ain't no strong woman. It's straight up a skinny trans girl. Shaved head. It's got this fake mustache. I don't know, it might be real. I've seen some people with mustaches and arm hair and shit. They're not trans or anything like that. They're just chicks. They're just hairy because that's how the genes go. That's how the genes go. I flew down on an airplane years ago down to Georgia. The devil went down to Georgia. And I was sitting on a plane next to this she was an Indian woman. Indian heritage. She wasn't from India. Her heritage was Indian. She spoke English and everything like that. She was pretty hot though too. I remember I was fucking like eyeballing her, thinking, damn, And then she put her arms up on the fucking seat of the fucking plane and shit next to me, and fucking her arms were hairier than mine, straight the fuck up. That's just how it goes sometimes. But yeah, they had a trans person there. I mean, that shit wouldn't fly in the Brotherhood of Steel. It wasn't even like a South Park Randy Savage ma'am type of a situation either. It was just a fucking scrawny chick with the shaved head, and it's just ridiculous. As someone who doesn't watch TV, I'll go and I'll see a game, I'll watch a game trailer, and I'll see some of the shit. I'm like, I ain't playing that. Fuck it. I was interested, but not anymore. The last one I really gave a fuck about was Starfield, and it wasn't the DEI shit that turned me off. It was just a bad fucking boring ass game. But no, they made sure they put all that stuff in it because that's what's important. And I guess that's my whole point. Is you care about this stupid shit that no one cares about. It's ridiculous. And then in the end, you just have a bad show or a bad game. It's like no one wants to play a bad game, especially if you jam all this dumb shit into it. And what was it all worth? Just so you could parade your politics around that no one cares. No one's going to play your game. You got to do it more subtle. You got to do it more subtle. You got to do it tasteful. But yeah, that show is woke as fuck. It was good. I enjoyed it. For the record, I enjoyed the Fallout TV show. It invigorated my love for Fallout. I'm playing Fallout 4, the next gen update right now. I'm having fun with it. I'm not saying the show was bad, but you asked me what's woke about it. It was woke. And he replied to me too. He goes, "Oh, well, it's not woke just because there's a black person in it." And I said, "No, you're right. It's not woke because of that. It's woke because all the fucking weirdos making the show wanted that. It's weird because fucking they made him a bumbling idiot. There's no reason why every character needed to be a subpar human being. There's no reason. Every single one of them. None at all. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I could have gone without all of that stuff. And I know the showrunners injected it, all of their politics into it. This time it turned out to be pretty good. And it turned out to be good because at least the director did care about the Fallout universe to a degree. They wanted to get the costumes right. They wanted to get some of the lore right. They were a fan of Fallout 3, admittedly. And they were working with stuff with New Vegas. It was pretty great. It was pretty great. And that is what made the show great. The woke shit didn't kill it. But without that stuff, without the great stuff, the lore, the show would not be very good. It's very rare we get that because every time they care about the DEI stuff, that's what they care about most. So I wanted to include that little conversation I had. By the way, he didn't respond back. He didn't respond back because he knows I'm right. So I'll end this little video. Just want to talk a little bit, check in, and just talk about where I stand with all this nonsense. And where I stand is I'm against it. I don't like it for reasons I just spent the last hour plus talking about. If I want to play a game of any sort or watch a TV show, I want it to be meaningful. I want to watch the Fallout TV shows because it cares about the story and characters and the setting. That's what made it cool, not the other bullshit. I want to play a game that's cool. I want to play a game that's fun. I don't want all the other bullshit. I don't care if the other bullshit is in it, but we are past the point where it's just flair. We're past the point where we're just playing good games that just happen to have a black or a female character in it. Like, I don't mind that stuff in the games. I don't mind at all. I don't care, which also means I don't care one way or the other, which means I'm not going to praise it ever because I don't care about it. And when it's in there, I'm not going to bash it either. But I do notice that that's all these people care about. And I do notice that every time they put it in their games, it turns out to be bad. It's very rare when they turn out to be good. As long as you give me good shit, as long as you give me a Rogue Legacy, as long as you give me a Last of Us Part 2, I'm fine with all the nonsense in there. I'd rather it not be in there, but if at the end of the day you give me a good product, I'm going to care about the good product more. Are we getting those? No, we're not. Maybe they're getting better at knowing where and how to push the envelope. Maybe they're getting better. Maybe they understand. Some of them don't. I mean, how could they? How could they understand how to make a great game or movie or show or whatever when you have all the showrunners just obsessing over this stuff that never played the fucking source material. Like the Witcher TV show. Oh man, all these people acting like the first season of The Witcher was good. Give me a fucking break. I watched the first episode and I was like, what is this shit? What is this shit? I don't fucking think so. And then you all see how that turned out. Henry Cavill. Yeah, they did him dirty, but the show was garbage from the get-go. Anyway, things have been crazy lately with all that. People are starting to wake up. People are saying no. And I'll say the same thing I do all the time in the comments. Like, I'm down there. I don't know if you spot me in the wild, but, you know, I'm arguing with people. I try not to. Usually they fucking say something shitty as like a weird gotcha moment. What was woke about it? Oh, you got me. You fucking idiot. I'm sorry, dude, but goddamn, really? Like, I got nothing? I got to get better with like how I word things, because half of my comments just get deleted automatically. The YouTube algorithm catches it. You can't say DEI. You can't say woke. You can't say any of these descriptors. And that is the point of censorship. You can't talk about it. If you can't talk about it, you can't say anything bad about it. I'm just not good at mincing words. But I'll say the same thing I've said repeatedly. You know, when I'm asked, well, why do you care? You know, it's not that big of a deal. You're freaking out over. First of all, you can't say someone's freaking out over something simply by talking about it, especially if you're the one that started the conversation. You start the conversation by throwing shit in people's faces, accusing them of ridiculous nonsense, and you beat them over the head with your personal politics. That's the conversation starter. And then if you disagree or buck it in any way, you're the one freaking out over it? Nay, sir, nay. I would argue that the ones freaking out over it are the conversation starters. I would argue that the people that it's such a big fucking deal to them are the people putting this in everything, pushing it. The people that don't think about anything else. The people who are constantly offended, the people making a big deal out of it, conspiracy theorists, are the ones that are pushing it and injecting it in all of our media and defending it. Like, I'm being reactionary. I'm not the one just deciding to go out and say, you know what, we have way too many fucking blacks in fucking games. We need to do something about that. That ain't me. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what anyone I see arguing the same arguments I'm making. I don't see any of them doing that. No. It's you and your side that are trying to push this on everyone. It's you and your side that's overstepping your boundaries and stepping on other people's toes. I'm not stepping on no one's toes. My toes are the ones getting stepped on. It's the same thing. It's like, you can't argue that it's not a big deal and then make a big fucking deal out of it and pretend like it's the other person. You can't pretend we're the ones offended when you're the ones frantically changing things and rewriting history. Like, it don't work that way. It don't fucking work that way. But yeah, from Assassin's Creed to the Fallout TV show, Sweet Baby Inc. I didn't really talk about Sweet Baby Inc. mostly because I've just watched the situation develop day by day over the course of months, and I'm just kind of tired of it all. But yeah, people are starting to wake up and figure out what the fuck everyone's doing and why they're doing it. And we can clearly see if the product is bad or not. Everybody wanted to scream at heel versus babyface for making his rant about DEI bullshit. The leftoids wanted to make fun of him for that. Okay, first of all, that wasn't his rant. He didn't turn the camera on and start screaming for fucking 10 minutes. He was live streaming for hours. And that was just a small 10-minute clip. And he was live streaming for, I think, days before that. He was playing the game wanting to love the game. And he finally hit a breaking point because the game was bad. And it was just like, I can't believe this bullshit in the game. I just want a good story. Trans people exist. You know why he sounded so crazy? Because he was doing a perfect impression. That's why. He was doing a perfect impression. That's what it seems like to us. Trans people exist. I did like a half fucking Donald Trump. Trans people exist. I do a horrible Trump impression. But no, that's why he looked and sounded so fucking crazy, because he was doing a perfect impression. That's what they seem like to us. You know, the red-faced freakazoids that try to beat you over the head with everything. They're always angry. He's right, though. He's right. Everything is coming to a head, and people are waking up and noticing. Just, I've noticed the backlash from fucking game was it? I didn't play it. I want to play it. Helldivers 2. Helldivers fucking 2. Some shit was going on there. Like, people are paying attention. People are downvoting videos and ratioing comments and videos like never before. Joining groups. You know, I don't want to say where, you know, what's the word? Mobilizing or anything like that. In some cases. But most cases, just people like me who are just on the sidelines, just tired of this shit. Another thing I'll say, as I've said many times before, I've said this many times before, people, sometimes people will laugh at me and not buy a game because it has a black person in it or whatever. I've never said that. I always lead that with too. Like, first of all, I've never said that. But then I tell them, second of all, there's a million games out there, old and new. A million. There's just absolutely tons of games. My options are legion. I'm playing 3 games right now. I want to make another video talking about that. I'm not going to do it right now, though. But I'm playing 3 games right now. One of them is a 10-year-old game. One of them is a 15-year-old game. And the other one is, I believe, a 25-year-old game. And last year it was reported that, I don't have the numbers exactly, but something like 80% of all game time across all platforms was spent on games that are 6 years old or older. What does this tell you? It tells you gamers don't want to play this new bullshit. We ain't interested. We ain't buying what you're selling. It's as simple as that. And with so many things to play, I don't have to play your new shitty game. It's easy. I'm not screaming and crying about it. I mean, to be fair, I was screaming and crying about Starfield. It's time for me to go. To be fair, I was screaming and crying about Starfield because I was really looking forward to that game. But I'm not looking forward to all these fucking games. I don't need to play the new Assassin's Creed. And when they push this shit onto us, it's so easy to just play something else. It's so easy. So easy to just play something else. I don't have to make a big deal out of it because what I'm going to be playing is going to be awesome and I'm going to enjoy myself. I could just play this 25-year-old game or this 15-year-old game without a fucking problem. I'm not crying because I don't get to play the new DEI game that's broken at launch. I'm having a good old time doing what I'm doing. I don't need your fucking shitty things. That's another reason why the industry is collapsing. They'll learn or they'll die. They'll probably learn. But a lot of them are going to die. Case in point with Microsoft closing down all these studios and shit. Those studios are dead. These people don't have jobs. You get what you fucking get. Thanks for listening to me, bitch. I forgot my outro. What do I usually say? Keep on gaming, everyone. and don't ever fucking stop.